What is up, guys, and welcome to another episode of my HLTV Fantasy. Today we will be looking at IEM Cologne 2022. So, basically just the playing stage for this one, meaning most likely you want to have players from teams that go 2-0. I did my Ego App Fantasy video already, where I discussed which teams I think are gonna make it through. As always, just go check out at least the beginning of that video to hear my thoughts on how I think this event will go. But also, if you want to get more involved in CS:GO Fantasy, definitely check out the Ego App Fantasy. It's a pretty fun game mode as well to play alongside HLTV. There's some clear favorites and some very clear underdogs, and also a couple teams that we can say could be making it through. Obvious favorites should be Vitality and Heroic, not just because they're the two highest ranked teams, but also because of which teams they will be facing. So Heroic will be playing against Sprout, Mouse Pain, Vitality playing against Tyloo, Movistar, MIBR. I want to go double Vitality, double Heroic, most likely at least. Other favorites, I would say Astralis and probably Big. I definitely I'm looking at Zipex as a possible fifth, just because he's actually had some pretty good events now, after being really mediocre in some events, but he's doing pretty okay for himself at the very least. Better than Glaves, that's why it's at least for the last 3 events or so. I would like to have Zaiwu, but it's pretty tough because you can't actually go Zaiwu, Misuta, Zipex, and double Heroic. It's just you're missing just a couple grand for that. If I could do that, I probably would. I think this is an event where Zaiwu could do super well. You have to remember, when it's just a play-in stage for the entire event, there is a lot of variance. So the teams you're gonna pick, they're with a short event like this, it's very likely that cheap player is gonna go kind of crazy, get like, I don't know, Misuda's gonna go like 1.05. That's the same as crazy. So his 0.92 rating goes 1.05 rating and becomes basically a must-have player for his price point. Same could be happening with Tizian, same could be happening with either Glaive or Zipnex, and same could be happening with someone else as well, of course. David G could just have a good event, why not? He's done that before. However, that just you just can't know who's gonna do this. All you can do is kind of pick from the best teams and hope that the cheap players who do well are also from the teams that kind of win and go 2-0 basically. I would like to say Misuda is a great pick here. He has shown glimpses and I think does a lot better the worse the opposition is. You can see here how badly he's done against like top 5 opponents, top 10 opponents. However, against like this is a bit of a weird way of looking at it. I wish there was an option to look at like ratings versus teams outside the top 20, for example. I'm not sure if there is a I don't think there's a way of looking at that, but basically by the fact that we look at this kind of big drop off, the better the opposition is. I would say against worse opposition, Misuda is actually very, very can be very good. Because of that, I think Misuta pick makes sense. Apart from Misuta, there's some good options here. Zaiwu, of course, but if we go Zaiwu, basically it means I can only go 1x Heroic. So then, do I go double Astralis? Do I go double Big? There's some good options there. Also an option is to go not 2-2-1, which I very rarely do, but in this kind of event actually could make sense. if we feel like, for example, Heroic is gonna go 2-0, but maybe the players have just okay ratings across the board. Like Staven maybe has a bit higher rating than everyone else, and then apart from that, they just have like 1.05s and just win, but not like super convincingly. Maybe it's fine to have just one player from Heroic. So let's take a look at that actually. I think then the teams are just Heroic, Big, and Astralis for me, who I should be picking from. Spirit I was thinking about, definitely, but the addition of Wonderful is... it could take a bit longer than people maybe expect. So, if I go Astralis... is there like... there's no way, right? No. You can't go Blamaf as well. I would love to have Blamaf, but I don't think it's possible. Zipex makes sense as like a secondary, cheaper player. How much are we using now? We're using all our money with this. So like this is a decent team. The problem with this is probably the fact that Big are playing with a stand-in, which makes Big a bit weaker. I think they still destroy Order, but Outsiders could be a troublesome opponent. So maybe I don't want to go for Crimbo. Maybe I do want to go for Astralis. Astralis are pretty... I'm pretty confident in the fact that Astralis can definitely destroy Double O Nation and... at least Double O Nation. I think Spirit as well. But... maybe not destroy Spirit, but still. Maybe it's not a Zaiwu angle then. Maybe it's just like a Dupree Magisk. Probably not Apex and Misuta. That seems a bit iffy. Maybe it's the Magisk angle. How have their like stats been? Getting second at Blast, but still only a 0.96 rating. What about the others? So Apex was actually pretty, but Dupree's, I mean Magisk's just been better before in like every event. What about Dupree? Is he kind of back out of its slump, or so kind of? He's kind of doing better, but it could be Magisk or Dupree if we want to go for that. Now we have definitely got the cash for like a double Heroic. There's even cash for like Topsen, but I don't want to go big. I don't think I want to go for Config or Far League. Like the only Australis, like expensive Australis player I would ever go for here is Blamaf. What if I do go for Blamaf? Is there like a way to do that? Yeah, it's just not really feasible, unfortunately. Like even if you go for this, it would have to be like I have 1 grand of Glaive or Zipex. It's pretty close. Well, you could go like this. Oh, I'm sorry if you're hearing that. I think it's some kind of practice sound. I don't know for what it is, like a evacuation. Sounds like a bomb shelter sound or something, but not sure what it was. Sorry about that. Kind of caught me off guard as well. But yeah, this is like a possibility for sure as well. I kind of like this, even though it's just 1x Heroic. Do we have the Opera here? IGL Misuta most likely. Support Zipnex. CT Blamaf is like the freest points ever, and then or multi-kill maybe Blamaf and CT Dupree. I like this. We get a lot of the pieces I would like to have. Let's see, look, are we too close to the most common lineup? Actually, not really. Like we have Misuta, Katie, and Blamaf. But then Dupree and Zipnex from outside of these players. But I think Zipnex is going to be pretty decent. And Misuta probably as well. I'm pretty fine with this lineup, to be honest, even though there's a couple cheap players. Blamaf is possibly just a must-have again. He's been kind of must-have in a lot of events lately. But IGL, main op. Also role-wise this works super well. Support. Then it's between Dupree, like what else could we have Dupree as? Apart from CT. Not the greatest options apart from that. How big is the difference between CT and multi Fraggeron? Blame, I think we go Blame F multi and CT Dupree. That makes the most sense to me. Very nice. And yeah, because of the very low amount of games I'm hoping my players will play, even though it's best of 1 starters, you have to use some good boosters here. Makes the booster game pretty weird, because you only get to use possibly 10 boosters. So we need to kind of choose which are the best ones. Of course, Rubet should be played on one of these players straight away. I would say KSD is one that I should use here. Makes sense on Blamaf. What else is like? What are the best Blamaf boosters? Probably top of scorecard. Maybe 30 bomb even actually. Who else? Did someone else have good KSD? Misuta actually has decent KSD. We could go Misuta KSD instead. But let's see what else. It's tough because we don't get to use all the boosters to like think of what I want to do with this. I'm not using bottom of scorecard. Not using choke. Probably using clutch in the second round. Top of scorecard Blamaf is definitely happening either now or next round. 30 bomb. What is Blamaf's best ones? Actually Trader. Yeah, Avenger and top of scorecard should be Blamaf's 2 boosters. I think we go actually top of scorecard first. Flash Cadian. What else is Cadian good at? Bait Cadian, okay, but not against Sprout. Like pistol, but we can also do the pre-pistol. Almost the same. But okay, so Cadian, Flash and Bait. So we can do Flash first. Misuta. Avenger was reserved for Blame. Nade damage we have to skip. Save or skip. Actually assist is also, but Xipnex can do assist and clutch. So probably clutch here or assist here. Probably clutch here. Dupree. Not the best options for Dupree in terms of boosters actually. Avenger was Blamaf, unless we want a 30 bomb Blamaf. Oh yeah, Dupree pistol and yeah, probably Dupree pistol, and then we can do probably Misuta KSD, right? So if it's Misuta KSD, then it's probably also Misuta Rubet, and then KSD on the next one, or what? But KSD is just better to use now than... No, it's actually not. It's better to do it this way, I think. Yeah. I think that's it. I think we're good with this lineup and these boosters. I'm pretty happy with this lineup. Double Vitality of double Astralis. It's a bit of a risk on Astralis. Like, I can see Astralis not doing that well, but I can't see Blamaf doing poorly. And I'm fairly optimistic about Zipnex. Misuta is picked a lot, but I think there's a lot of merit because he's playing against a lot weaker opposition than he usually does, and usually that's when he shines. Dupree is just pretty damn decent and can take over games, and Cadian is very decent as an op and very cheap for that role as well. I'm happy with this. Obviously I want to wait with the group stage video. I'll be making it once the playing stage is concluded and we know which teams make it to the group stage. There's a chance I could go for like a Heroic or Vitality, for example, in my group stage team. So looking forward to making that video as well. If you enjoy this kind of content, remember to leave a like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next one. Goodbye.